you've been looking at the data and polling on how Americans and political parties stand on the birthright citizenship issue. What have you discovered?
Yeah, I mean, look, there are a lot of policies that Donald Trump is going to push during his second term that are popular. This ain't one of them. This ain't one of them. It's quite an unpopular policy, and we can see this in the polling right here. All right, end birthright citizenship for children born to immigrants illegally here. Look at this. Only about a third of the country supports it. Only 35% in average of all polling. A clear majority, 50.
Also, it's just unconstitutional. Like, it's like, it wouldn't matter if everyone supported it. Like, the law of the land has already made its ruling on this. The average American also doesn't know what birthright citizenship is. So their opinions on this matter are kind of like unreliable. You know? How? Statistically speaking, like, probably 20% of the people watching this right now don't know what it is.
3% oppose it. You rarely can get such a large majority in this country that is so polarized along political lines to agree on an issue. But on this one, the overwhelming majority oppose it. And I will note that I looked at every single poll on the subject. And
ideologically, this actually makes sense, not just because Republicans are anti-immigration, but also because Republicans are massive on parental control of children. So the idea being, if children are property of their parents, a deeply pedophilic attitude, I might note, if the parents are here illegally and then they have a child here in the US, their logic would be, well, the child's just the property of the parents and the parents are here illegally. So they're just an anchor baby. Whereas in reality, that child is their own individual who was born here in the blessed, United States of America, and therefore is endowed with citizenship by right of birth. Like that. So that if you view children as property of parents, it makes more sense to argue undocumented immigrants who have children here in the United States, those kids shouldn't have citizenship.
in every single poll, a majority opposed it. That's why the average reflects this. This isn't just one poll, it's across a ton of polls. But it's not just in the here and now. We can look at this issue historically, because Donald Trump is not the first guy to push this. It was pushed by Republicans back in the early 2010s. So we can see this here. All right, support ending birthright citizenship. You go back to 2011, look at that. It was 35%. You jump forward to 2015, right when Donald Trump was getting his first presidential bid going. You could see it was 31%. You look now at the average of polls. It's 35%. The bottom line is support for this issue has not changed. It has been consistent. Only about 1/3 of the country support the idea of ending birthright citizenship for children born to immigrants here illegally. But it's not just in the here and now. It's not just across time. It is also when you look within political parties, because you might expect that Donald Trump's political base, Republicans, would be overwhelmingly in support of this measure to support ending birthright citizenship. But what do we see here? We only see 56% of Republicans agree. Now, that is...
These numbers are going to shift over time as well, unfortunately. Now that the Republicans control literally all news everywhere, we can expect, the consent for the citizenry to be manufactured pretty aggressively. We'll see how much it shifts over time. We are seeing pushback from the Democrats over this, so maybe it will be the sacrificial issue. And again, legally, this has no leg to stand on, if that even matters. Doesn't matter if you have a leg to stand on if the Supreme Court will just pick your legless body up and carry you across the finish line. So that's pretty bad. If you're undocumented or the child of undocumented immigrants, I would really recommend keeping your head down for a little bit. Might want to get the lay of the land a little bit, not trying to be too doomer about it, but realistically, you might want to keep your head down a little bit. I'm curious to see what their attempt at a plausible justification to the Supreme Court is. The Supreme Court wipes their ass with the Constitution whenever it's convenient for them. Seriously, the 5-4 podcast, you can learn about some of their decisions. The decision-making of the conservative justices has been insane. Like, they don't even pretend to care about the rule of law. They will, their justifications will often be so obviously contradictory, you don't even need a law degree to go like, wait, if that's your logic for this ruling, wouldn't that contradict literally all the other things? Does, like, it's just straightforward, What's the name of the podcast? 5-4. What should I do as a naturalized citizen? Naturalized citizen, you're likely fine for a while. You're certainly not, like, at the top of the list. I mean, everyone should be careful, but you're not near the top of the list. You're in the middle of the list. It really depends on where you were before you were naturalized as a citizen, okay? It really depends on your skin color. But this isn't even based on the interpretation. It's explicitly written in the Constitution. Literally does not matter. This order does regarding birthright citizenship does not in its current form affect anyone who's currently alive. It applies to people born 29 days from now. Yes, that is true. I completely blanked on that. Yeah. It's not about revoking citizenship from people who already have it, because that would be like an enormous legal task. It's about like setting the precedent, though arguably they could push forward on that. Like once they've established the argument that past a certain point, you no longer benefit from birthright citizenship, you go back on it. What's the alternative to birthright citizenship? You have nationality by land and nationality by blood. And over in the New World, in the Americas, most countries are nationality by land. And what that means is that if you're born there, even if you're born in on land that's not technically within the country, but is like legally designated as such, like in an embassy in a foreign country or on a plane that's chartered in that country, you are a citizen. You were born there, it's yours. Whereas most old world countries like France, England, whatever else, if you're born there, it doesn't matter. You need to have a blood tie in order to get citizenship there. So you need to have a parent that is a citizen. Yeah, Jus Soli versus Jus Sanguinis. Yeah, our way is better. It's just better. That is the reason why America went from a podunk backwater to being the global superpower in between like 1918 and 1945. Massive waves of immigrants, Irish, Italian, China, like the whole way forward, immigration helped fuel our economy, and we grew exponentially. We grew to an unimaginable extent, and it was built on the incredible opportunity that our country afforded. I'm not doing the like American exceptionalist, land of opportunity pledge here, but I also kind of am. That is the reason why we grew to the extent that we have, Meanwhile, other countries have stagnated. What has Britain done since 1945? What has France done? What has Germany done? Nothing. We rule the world. Or at least the corporations that are chartered here do. Genuinely. Like, it is just a better way of running a country. It incentivizes people to come over. What do you want to do immigration like France? The country that's done nothing but lose cultural relevance, even within their own borders, no matter how hard they try. Lose population. Lose against lobsters. I mean, France did make dead cells. If those cells were made in America, they'd be alive today. The thought that colonizing a continent wasn't the main aspect helping the USA become a world power is a bizarre thought. I mean, yeah, because it's true. Lots of countries took over territory. That's not unique to the United States. That's like pretty common. Obviously, we had a lot of territory to take over, but so did a bunch of other countries, And it's not like we were even able to take advantage of most of that territory up until relatively recently. The real difference, in addition to getting lucky in terms of like being a strategic supplier of arms and rebuilding after World War II and so forth, is the fact that we were able to get like massive waves of labor. Like literally, that was the big boom. Now, either way, 5 booms for American supremacy.